Martin said Nichols was never resisting and there was no reason to tase him. I'm not going to tell on them, and I know they're not going to tell on me. Not going to put them in a situation where they get in trouble. It was an understanding. Basically, we did what we needed to do. I wasn't going to tell on them, and they weren't going to tell on me.
It's your boy Deezy, man. One of the officers in the Tyre Nichols case, the case that the officers beat a man to death after a traffic stop, he decided to testify on his buddies. I want y'all to check this news clip out and let me know what y'all think about the situation, man. It's your boy Deezy, man.
Former Scorpion Unit member Emmett Martin was the first officer to see Tyre Nichols in January of 2023.
Today, he took the witness stand in the federal trial of Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. Our WREG's April Thompson is live at federal court. And April, plenty of people have been waiting to hear what Martin has to say about what happened that night.
Now that he is testifying against the other three officers. And one thing that we continue to hear Martin say in his testimony, we lied and exaggerated to justify what we did.
Emmett Martin, a former member of the Memphis Police Department Scorpion Unit, describing the deadly encounter that led to the unit's demise and Tyre Nichols' death. Martin testifying for the prosecution in the federal trial of Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, laying out how he was the first to see Nichols speed up to make it through a red light and gave chase. Martin admitting he didn't know Nichols was going, but that a chase for a traffic violation was against MPD policy. It would be the first of several policy violations Martin testified he and other officers committed that night, describing how he, Demetrius Haley, and Officer Preston Hemphill surrounded Nichols' car, yelling, "Get the expletive out of the car," and "Get on the ground. I'm going to tase your expletive." Martin said Nichols was never resisting and there was no reason to tase him, which Hemphill did. Martin says by the time they caught up with Nichols, who managed to run away, Tadarius Bean and Justin Smith had him on the ground, hitting him with a closed fist. He said Desmond Mills took out his baton and started hitting Nichols 3 times on the arm. And that was against policy since Nichols was not a threat. Martin admitted he should have stepped in, but instead he said, "I punched him in the face 5 times with a closed fist." When asked why he did it, Martin said, "I was mad. I was already on edge prior to even getting there. We tried to get him in custody and it wasn't working. He ran and that's what happened." Marley delivered a vicious kick between Nichols' torso and head. Martin said he also added to the kicks, saying Nichols' body jerked. He admitted kicking is not a trained police technique. One thing Martin maintained, out of all the officers on the scene, no one told the other to stop or pull back. By the time their Lieutenant Dwayne Smith showed up, he says no one mentioned the punches and kicks they had delivered to Nichols, saying if they did, they would have been charged. Instead, they told him Nichols was high, something they didn't have evidence of, and that he was driving into oncoming traffic and got out of his car swinging. Martin saying they had to justify his actions to justify theirs. Martin also testified to a code that was a general understanding. I'm not going to tell on them, and I know they're not going to tell on me. Not going to put them in a situation where they get in trouble. It was an understanding. Basically, we did what we needed to do. I wasn't going to tell on them, and they weren't going to tell on me.
And Martin saying a lot here in court today. Bear with me, if you will. Martin also testified he gestured for Mills to take off his body camera because he didn't want it to catch what they were saying after the beating, saying it was common practice to remove the camera, leave it on the car. He'd seen other people do it, so he did the same thing. He also said the assault report the department wrote up for him, since Nichols was trying to take Martin's gun, what he said happened, was also full of untruths, as well as Martin's own response to resistance report, even down to the lack of information they gave dispatch and EMTs and first responders about Tyre Nichols' injuries. They never told anyone what they did.
It's your boy Deezy. Go check out the merch, SBGBTV.com, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Nah.